Hey guys, HDV here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some pretty big things to go over. New events have been announced. We also have some new Pokemon Legends EA leaks and rumors to take a look at. As well as that, Nintendo Switch 2 updates have also dropped. A lot of things to break down today. So if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's take a look at these new Pokemon events that have been announced. We have Pokemon Go here. We've got Cerebi tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, new outfits have been announced for Pokemon Go Fest 2025 for Pikachu and Phalanx. So we're going to have a Train Phalanx costume and then also Pikachu in various different colored top hats as well. So that's the Pokemon Go update. We also have a new Pokemon Cafe remix update as well. We've got Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the next Pokemon Cafe remix delivery focus has been announced. Add Primarina's elegant Sorare 5-star outfit. This runs from the 23rd of May 2025. And then as well as that, we have an update regarding the Pokemon anime as well. So we've got Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the next batch of episodes for Pokemon Horizons Season 2, The Search for Lacroix, will be released on Netflix in the US on the 27th of June 2025. So if you're following the Pokemon anime and you're in America, you usually watch it on Netflix. That's when the next batch of episodes are going to be live. Moving on, let's take a look at the new Nintendo Switch 2 update. We've got Go Nintendo tweet here posting saying, analyst says level of Switch 2 third-party support is something we haven't seen on Nintendo hardware maybe ever. So very, very good. Positive notes for third party on the Nintendo Switch 2. So analyst says level of Switch 2 third party support is something we haven't seen on Nintendo hardware maybe ever. Let's get this third party started. So when Nintendo pulled back the curtain on the Nintendo Switch 2, they did so with a strong showing of third party support from big and small developers alike. It was definitely proof of just how far Nintendo has come in terms of relationships with other developers / publishers. And one analyst thinks that Switch 2 could be a third-party heaven, or haven should I say, unlike any other in Nintendo history. So speaking to Games Radar, industry analyst Matt Piscatella talked at length about the third-party support lined up for the Nintendo Switch 2. According to Piscatella, I probably butchered that name. I mean, I definitely have butchered the name. At the very least, it's been a long time since Nintendo hardware has seen this kind of third-party support. But it's also possible the Nintendo Switch 2 could be taking third-party offerings to heights never before seen by Nintendo fans. So the actual quote was, historically, Nintendo products get purchased to play Nintendo games, and Nintendo platforms aren't the first place people look to play third-party content if they have other ways of accessing that content. So if you have a new game, let's just say Final Fantasy VII, for example, usually you'd get that for the PlayStation instead of the Nintendo Switch because it's just going to run better, it looks nicer, etc. But now with the Nintendo Switch 2, people are kind of start looking at the Nintendo Switch 2 to be one of the consoles they go to for those third-party games. It says perhaps that changes there because of the support and because of the hybrid nature of the device. Maybe we see that start to change this time. It's going to be super interesting to watch because we haven't seen this level of support maybe ever, but at least for a long time, maybe even since the GameCube in terms of that third-party partnership approach. That's not something that Nintendo had really pushed so much with prior launches. So it looks very promising for just loads of developers on the Nintendo Switch 2. They really are just broadening the horizon. They're making everybody able to kind of put something onto the Nintendo Switch 2 just to giving that roster of games, making it even larger, which is always fun. But anyway, that's a quick Nintendo Switch 2 update there. Moving on, we have a new Pokemon Legends EA leak to take a look at, as well as some new Pokemon Legends EA rumors to go over as well. The first thing that I'm going to go over is a tiny bit of a story leak. It's a continuation of the kind of story leaks that Ball Guy recently posted. So obviously, if you don't want to get spoiled on that, then click away now until like the rumor portion or the Nintendo Switch 2 portion later on in the video. Whatever floats your boat. Just a little bit of a warning in case you don't want to see anything about the story. Anyway, though, it's nothing crazy really. It's just what one of the characters is going to look like. But again, it's another leak at the end of the day. So we basically had Ball Guy replying to this here saying, I hope Jacinth, who of course is one of the new characters in Pokemon Legends EA, who is going to have a Mega Dragonite. That's going to be one of the arcs or something like that, one of the story arcs. So yeah, she has a Mega Dragonite. And then we had Ball Guy here saying, it's up to interpretation of what Jacinth is going to look like. But as for the maid, so the maid that is going to have the Mega Drampa basically is going to look like this. So this is what one of the characters is going to look like in Pokemon Legends EA. So quite a stocky sort of maid. I don't know if the outfit's going to be similar or whatever, but yeah, she's going to be quite a stocky kind of character, and she's going to have a Mega Drampa. Again, I don't know if we battle her when we battle Jacinth, because I don't know how double battles would work in this sort of game, because there'd just be so much stuff going on. But apparently we battle them around the same time. But either way, it's just another Pokemon Legends EA leak there. Again, if you didn't see the recent Legends EA leaks, I made a video about it, you know, yesterday or a couple days ago, where Ball Guy basically just posted like a ton of story information about these different arcs and stuff, like the tournament arc and the Mafia arc and yada yada yada. So yeah, if you haven't checked that out, make sure to go check it out, because there's some pretty beefy information in the latest leaks from Ball Guy. Again, still got to take it with a grain of salt. He does have a good track record, but we don't know if it's going to be true until obviously we get confirmation, whether it's in a trailer or something like that. Like the next trailer could drop and they could be talking about like the Mafia arc or something like that, and then we know that all of that is legit. But anyway, that's just a quick Pokemon Legends EA leak that you obviously haven't seen yet. Moving on, we have some more Nintendo Switch 2 updates to go over. The first one is all about Mario Kart Worlds. This is quite interesting because it was originally getting made for the Nintendo Switch, which goes to show how long this game's been in the making. But we've got Stealth here tweeting out saying Mario Kart World was in development for a long time, or a long time ago. It was being developed for the Nintendo Switch, but they ran into many limitations, so they kicked the can down the road, developed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass instead. So in 2020, based on only provisional estimates of what the specs would be, they moved development to the Nintendo Switch 2. We know that they were making the Nintendo Switch 2 like 2 years into the life cycle of the Nintendo Switch 1, so around 2019. They were originally going to make this game for the Nintendo Switch 1. Limitations and stuff stopped them from doing that, so they decided to make the Booster Course Pass instead, and then just chucked Mario Kart World onto the Nintendo Switch 2. Then goes on to say development started in 2017, which is crazy. This was literally going to be Switch's original Mario Kart. They decided they really couldn't do what they wanted, so they rode out Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to the tune of 70 million units sold. They weren't in any kind of rush, and it paid off literally. So yeah, Mario Kart World, originally going to be a Nintendo Switch 1 game, decided not to, just kind of threw Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course, something like that instead. And yeah, the rest is history. They smashed it. It's definitely the right decision at the end of the day. And then we also have some new Nintendo Switch 2 updates as well. Quite a bad one, unfortunately. But Nintendo Switch 2 is not capable of 120 FPS/4K at the exact same time. So this was a post from Go Nintendo tweet saying, and a surprise to no one, but the Switch 2 is a powerhouse compared to the original Nintendo Switch. Estimates have put the Nintendo Switch 2 at 10 times the power of the original Switch, which is a serious leap in technical prowess. That's what makes things like 4K resolution and 120 frames per second possible on the Nintendo Switch 2, just don't expect them at the same time. So a Nintendo Switch 2 spec sheet has detailed what the Nintendo Switch can and cannot do. And while we already know pretty much all the specifics, there is one area worth pointing out in terms of resolution and frame rate. So you've no doubt seen that the Nintendo Switch 2 can run select titles at 4K resolution, which obviously is fantastic, which is leagues beyond the Nintendo Switch's 1080p. You've also seen that some games will offer a 120 FPS mode, making for an incredibly silky, smooth experience. With that being said though, the spec sheet also makes it clear that Nintendo Switch 2 will not be capable of offering 120 frames per second and 4K resolution at the same time. So a good example of how things work comes from titles like Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. That game has two modes of play, one that offers 4K, 60 FPS, or another that uses 1440p, 120 FPS. In other words, if a developer wants to focus on resolution, they'll likely have to cut the frame rate, and those who favor frame rate will probably have to drop resolution. But it also gives you like multiple ways to play. You can either play with silkier sort of movements and stuff because of the frames, or you can run it in 4K, which is obviously going to look a lot better. So it's really each to their own, is however you want to run it. But yeah, and it's not surprising obviously at the end of the day, because it'd be very difficult to run both 120 FPS and 4K at the same time, but it's just not something that's going to be available on the Nintendo Switch 2. Finishing things off for today's video though, we do have a new Pokemon Legends ZA rumor to go over. It was posted on 4chan on the 21st of May, so a few days ago now. It's just titled Fresh Leaks about Pokemon Legends ZA. So again, take it with a big old grain of salt as always, because 4chan usually not true. There are a couple of leakers on 4chan though. We have seen that in the recent past as well. Somebody did leak the starters before the trailer on Pokemon Day. which was quite interesting. So they obviously have a bit of information. There's obviously the Terra Leak and stuff like that. Any day somebody could just jump on to 4chan with Terra Leak information. Maybe they have with his post, who knows? But either way, take it with a massive grain of salt, as always. So they say, fresh ZA leaks. So you obtain a Kanto starter Pokemon around 2 hours into the game. So a little bit similar to Pokemon X and Y, where as soon as you get to Lumiose City, which, it doesn't take forever to get there, then you do get the starter. Whether you're going to be able to do that in 2 hours or not, obviously everybody's different. Some people just steam through the game. Some people like to check every single nook and cranny. There's literally no right or wrong answer. But yeah, I'd say around 2 to 3 hours would probably be a good idea, because we start in Lumiose in this game, so we don't have to get there. So maybe we just have, I think we're just going to get through Wild Zone 1, and then, because we have Professor Sycamore's lab in the background at the end of Wild Zone 1, so maybe we get through that with our actual starter being Chikorita, Totodile, or Tepig, and then we obviously go to Sycamore's lab. He then gives us one of the starters, maybe gives us a Mega Stone as well, who knows. But yeah, that just kind of like, for continuity reasons, just like X and Y, just kind of makes sense. But again, Sycamore, very likely not the professor in this game, so he's probably not going to be in Sycamore's lab. He might be just in a random house or something. Might be a quest or something, like a side quest or a main quest or whatever. But yeah, apparently Sycamore gives us the starters in this game, the Kanto starters, so we'll have to see how far into the game that's possible. But according to this person, it's around 2 hours into the game. They then say Kalos starters are in the wild, obtain them in the rank 4 and 5 areas. So I assume they mean wild zone like 4 and 5, which I feel like that's quite far-ish into the game. I don't know, it depends how many wild zones there are. If there's only like 12 wild zones, then that is quite far into the game. It's like a third of the way into the game. And I feel like with the Kalos starters, you'd want to be able to get them in their original form, like Fennekin, Chespin, and Froakie, instead of fighting the like Frogadier, Braixen, and Qualadin in the wild or something like that. But yeah, around Wild Zone 4 or 5 apparently is when the Kalos starters are going to be obtainable. We know they're catchable in the wild because of leaks. There's so many starter Pokemon in this game. It's going to be kind of interesting, because obviously you got the Hoenn starters as well. I don't think we know how you obtain those. We just know they're in the game. So Kanto starters, Hoenn starters, Kalos starters, and 2 Johto and 1 Unova starter all in this game. So that's 12 starter Pokemon in this game, and there might even be more. We just don't know. Anyway. Then goes on to say you start the game with the Mega Ring, you just have no Mega Stones. Which, yeah, I mean, that's literally true. You can see that from the trailer. When you're picking the starter Pokemon, when you kind of like bend down to look at the Pokemon, you do have the Mega Bracelet on your wrist. So, yeah, we do have that at the start of the game when we're choosing our starter. Maybe we get it before we choose our starter. Maybe we just spawn into the game with it. Who knows? But, yeah, we do have the Mega Ring very early on, but obviously we have no Mega Stones. Then it says the first Mega Stone is obtained, which is Lucario, before fighting an evil Absol. So yeah, that's kind of been leaked as well, I'm pretty sure. I think the first Mega Stone that we obtain is Lucario's. It's very similar to X and Y in that sense. And we do know that we also fight some sort of enraged Absol as well. Like, this isn't new information. It's been leaked for a little bit now. So I don't know if this person's just adding that in there to try and make it sound more believable or not. But yeah, that's just information we already know about. And then goes on to say Lysander appears after this battle with Zygarde 10% form. This is when the story really starts. So I assume they mean the battle. So we beat Absol with Lucario. Lysander appears with Zygarde's 10% form because they're buddy-buddy in this game for whatever reason. And also he can speak to us telepathically through Zygarde can talk to us telepathically. Well, no, he can talk to Lysander telepathically, and then he tells us basically what Zygarde's saying. And then that's apparently when they spawn or when they appear, and then that's also when the story really starts. So yeah, once we battle that first kind of like enraged Mega Evolution. And then goes on to say the real-time battle system in this game is great. You'll have a lot of fun. I mean, that's not a leak or anything. That's just personal opinion, really. Some people are going to really like the real-time battling, myself included. I'm really looking forward to it. Some people might really dislike real-time battling. It's completely different to Pokemon. You know, Pokemon is a turn-based game. So this is a completely stepping out of its comfort zone here. So some people might like that, some people might not like it. It is what it is. You can kind of make your own judgment about that when you play the game, hopefully soon. And then it also says no online apart from trading. Again, something else that we're not really surprised at. I would love there to be online battling in this game. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. But again, very unlikely. It's very much kind of, I think, promoted as a single player game, just like Legends Arceus was. It did have online, with obviously trading and then finding satchels and stuff. Not the greatest online, but again, it's a single player game really at the end of the day. So yeah, I don't know if they would change that for Legends EA. I hope they would, because I would love to do battles online, but I think it's just very unlikely. But yeah, that's all the rumor says. I mean, there's nothing that really jumps out saying it's fake. There's nothing really that jumps out saying it's legit. It's basically just leaks that we already know, I guess, combined with a couple of random things that they've put, which don't really, like, when we get the starter is not really that important because we know we're getting them. It's probably going to be early on-ish in the game. Yeah, it's kind of a nothing burger, really, this rumor here. But either way, make of it what you will. Do you think it's true or not? I don't know if I want it to be true or not. I mean, it's not really exciting or anything. But yeah, that's just the latest rumor for Pokemon Legends EA. So let me know your thoughts on that. Leave a comment about it. And then also leave a comment about everything else we covered in this video with the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. The actual Legends EA leaks as well, or Legends EA leak, should I say. It's not really plural. And then also the events that we covered as well, and announcements and all that jazz. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Let's try and hit 500. It does really help out. As I say, leave a comment. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.